Welcome back to Red Dog Firewood, Northeast Ohio. The weatherman said it was coming and I did not believe them. And it is here. It showed up with a vengeance overnight. And I am oh so thrilled. Sarcasm intended. Today is just a day of doing what I do best, catching up when I'm lazy. We're gonna get some firewood, some empty totes moved from the boiler and some full totes put back at the boiler so that the firewood is ready to go. Typically, our little tractor, the 4710, Coyote 4710, I prefer to use to move the totes around. It's a little more nimble. I like having the forks on the front of the tractor. I do have a forklift mast on the 3-point of the 7320. And like I said, typically I would use the little tractor, but seeing how it's cold and blowy and snowy and I've got a tractor with a cab and heat, I might as well use the heat, right? Check this thing out. I found this on Facebook and it is such a simple idea. I'm so upset that, I'm trying to get a better picture of this. I'm so upset that I didn't think of this myself. It's a receiver, a 2-inch receiver, and all you do, I'm not going to start the little tractor, but all it does is slip on the quick attach plate on your tractor like that, and then it's got a hole down there for the lock to lock into, and you've got a 3-point hitch, or excuse me, a 2-inch receiver that you can put a ball in. And I have one for the 3-point hitch. The problem is I've got the forklift mast on the 7310. When the forklift, or excuse me, the 7320, when the forklift mast isn't on this tractor, I've got it hooked to a 15-foot bat wing that I mow with spring, summer, and fall. And on the back of the 4710, I have an old Ford flail mower and some cinder blocks that I use for counterweight when I'm picking up the firewood poles to cut. So that little contraption is just gonna be awesome to slip right on the front loader quick attach, move a trailer, whatever you got to do, take it right back off, put the bucket or the grapple back on, and you're in business. I think it's funny how we get so used to a temperature and then one drastic change overnight. I mean, it's what, 20, I think it's 25 or 26 degrees. It's not really that cold. Yesterday I took a load of cars down to Bridgeport, West Virginia, and I almost could have taken my sweatshirt off. And today it's 26, and it's just funny how you don't remember how cold cold is or how hot hot is until you go from one extreme to another. And I know at some point in time this winter, it's going to get a lot colder than this. I know in my last video, I overemphasized quite a bit how much we love this outdoor boiler. And I'm gonna say it again. I love it. It's work, don't get me wrong. You know, it's not a plug and play, set it and forget it sort of thing. But the house, she turned the thermostat up to 76 today, this morning, because she was chilly. And all it's gonna cost me is being out here doing what I don't really mind doing anyways. Staying busy. In one of my previous videos, I showed you that this stuff, the ugly splits and the big stuff, things that I don't want to sell to customers, we burn, and that's all I'm doing. I've got full totes of stuff that I wouldn't want to give to customers, and it's just an avenue for us to have wood to burn without burning good wood that we would sell to customers. So like I mentioned, I prefer to use the forks on the front of the little tractor. It's just more nimble to get into places. The tractor's smaller. It only weighs 6,000 pounds. This tractor with the forklift mast and loaded tires weighs almost 10,000 pounds. So I definitely prefer taking the small tractor on the lawn versus this one, especially this time of year and in the spring. But I have a cab tractor with heat, so that's what we're using today. Dogs are sure having a good time playing out in this stuff. I know you saw me flipping that tote upside down to dump the last bit of wood out, and that's just another example of my laziness that you caught me in. Typically, what I do for our wood is cut the fronts out of the totes so we can reach in here and get it. And the truth of the matter is, that was my plan when I put those two full totes at the boiler. And each time I tipped them forward to try to reach in and get some more wood, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go get the Sawzall and I'm gonna cut the fronts out. And obviously you can see I did not cut the fronts out of this. So I think today's video is becoming a culmination of my laziness and you catching it. Here is another example. How many of you caught the half-washed side of the house, laziness, and the Tyvek wrapped bathroom addition? That's been 3 years now, I believe, and 2 wraps later. Like I said, laziness. I start way too many projects at the same time, And then you would think that I would go back and at least finish one of them. No. Typical fashion. We have a difficult situation at the moment. I grossly underestimated our first year sales. I had about 20 cord to sell, and we are out. Between our deliveries and the bulk stands, the serve yourself stands, I am out of dry wood. I have wood, I have a lot of wood actually, but I have sold out of the dry wood that we have. I did not anticipate the serve yourself stands emptying as quickly as they did. I really need to keep better track of our sales in a ledger, and January 1st I am going to do that. I am going to keep track of how everything sells. But the bulk serve yourself stands probably took 4 cord out of my inventory that I didn't account for. And I know that's only, 4 1-cord delivery sales that I missed out on. I should have had more wood, and I didn't. It's a good problem as far as sales go, but it's a bad problem because now I have to buy dry wood in bulk to resell, but I also have to tell our customers that it might be a couple of weeks before I can get them a delivery. And that was my biggest fear, was telling a customer no. I believe that if I tell a customer no, I'm never going to see that customer again. And if I tell them that they have to wait a couple of weeks, I might never see that customer again. Unfortunately, it's just a risk that I have to take right now. I will not sell wet wood. To me, selling wet wood is a bigger nail in my coffin than selling out of dry wood. I won't do that. So I'll buy some bulk wood, and hopefully I can get it at a price where I can, worst case scenario, I'll be honest with you, if I break even my first year being able to tell customers all winter long that yes, we have wood we can deliver, I'm okay with that. From a business standpoint, it's a terrible idea, but I want to grow, and I'm not going to grow telling people no. I will definitely up my production this year and hopefully have 40 or 50 cords to sell next year, and hopefully 80 to 100 cord our third year. It's a scalable business, but it takes time and it takes money. I've got to buy the loads of logs to be able to produce a product that I can sell to the customer. So, going from 15 loads of logs to 40 loads of logs in a couple of years, it's not feasible. You can't make enough profit in 20 loads one year to pay for 40, 50 triaxle loads the next year. The profit, there's just not that much profit margin in it. And unfortunately right now, we have so much money of our money into the startup this year. If I did the math with the money that we've put in for the startup, I couldn't sell enough wood in the next couple of years. But like I said, it's scalable and we'll get there. I'm going to be positive. I'm just going to keep plugging along, and we'll make it work. That wind is just howling today. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Nothing exciting today's video, just to catch up on my laziness. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.